All right, what's up, guys? Stephen Guadani, 5 Tool Sports Science. We got Gio here. We're going to be doing a pitching mechanics video analysis. So, Gio, let's get you started. Get you into your drive leg, lift leg here. All right, so good job of staying inside. Drive leg. All right, so you're doing kind of like a drop and drive type gig here. All right, so let's get a line. So this is the start of your hip position. Ideally, we'd like to see those hips travel forward and down at the same rate. And go back one more frame. All right, so you're getting this kind of drop and drive type thing going here. Ideally, we want to see that. If we go back, all right, here's your hips. We want to see them travel forward and down, same rate. All right, so you can pick up all that momentum as you're loading that back leg and getting that sweet spot load position, setting up the force vector. That momentum is going to help you. That's free energy. That's free energy to ride down the mound. So I think you could do a little bit better job of that. All right, but let's keep going forward. So you're kind of loading. All right, so here, that's a pretty good job. Pretty good job of loading that back leg into its force vector, though. So that's a pretty good force vector. But what we're going to see, this front leg is going to keep kind of opening, and we're going to see this this drive leg is going to keep collapsing in with that. All right. So here it goes. That knee's kind of collapsed in. You kind of started a rotational style of a drive leg here too. Let's go forward another frame. All right, here's front foot strike. So we can see, pretty decent job. You got the shoulders completely closed. That's what we like to see. But this hip, it's a little late. I don't think it's a terrible position, but it's definitely not fully open. It's a little late. You can see that drive or that ankle isn't kicked all the way through. But here's the big thing: is you are transferring your trunk into early trunk tilt way too soon. So draw a line through the middle of your body. You can see that your head and your chin is getting way in front of your belt buckle. So you're transferring early trunk tilts too soon. All right, let's go forward. See how that works with the arm. Let me go back a tad. See if I can stop it right at that. See what that arm's doing. Come on, work with me today. Boy, I'm missing the frame. All right, so here's what we're going to see. So this arm getting caught back here as this glove side starts to pull open. So that's what happens with early trunk tilts. It's really hard to keep your arm connected to your trunk rotation. What happens is the trunk starts rotating and this arm gets disconnected and lags behind. I'm going to try to stop it. Okay. I think it's just going to skip a frame, so we're not really going to get to see too much. But you can still see this elbow. If we draw a line, if this is your scapular plane, your elbow's slightly behind it, not too bad, but definitely some arm drag there. And I think if we had that, a higher frame per second camera, we'd be able to see a lot more in that shoulder rotation. All right, but now let's go forward. Check out, you got a lot of flexion here in this front leg. Let's see how you transfer it. All right, there's pitch release. So really great job of forward trunk tilt, but still not a lot of extension off of that front leg. So that extension is going to get energy from the ground off the front leg, powered back up into, it's going to power energy from the ground back into your trunk, and that energy is going to travel up into the ball through forward trunk tilts. So you're doing a good job of the forward trunk tilts, but you could still be pushing more energy from the ground from front leg extension and powering that into the trunk as well, right into pitch release. I still think you do a pretty dang good job of it in terms of forward trunk tilt, but there just needs to be more extension off that front leg. That's going to push more energy up into the trunk. So big takeaways: get better at loading your hips forward and down, riding your hips forward and down so that you can pick up more momentum. all right? And then you got to time this drive better. When you hit this sweet spot, this load sweet spot, you know, your force vector's in a good position. Let me try to go back one frame. Okay, force vector's in a good position. All right, you're sitting in deflection of this back hip. That's a good load position. You have to power and drive through that position. Power and drive to get those hips. Drive, one, accelerate you down the mound. Two, power those hips open. So you land that front foot strike with those hips fully open and shoulders closed. That's going to maximize that hip to shoulder separation. Three is you got to keep this trunk back. You got to keep this trunk farther back. All right. Going forward, more extension off this drive leg, right into those forward trunk tilts. Get that awesome forward trunk tilts right into pitch release. You already do a pretty good job of the forward trunk tilts. You just got to do a better job of stabilizing, extending that front leg. Like I talked about in the messages with you, man, a big thing is going to be just adding lean muscle mass. You said you were, I think, a $150, had some medical issues. That's going to be big, man, is putting that weight back on is going to be big. Getting more lean muscle mass, building more power through your lower half. That's going to be key for your development. All right, man, hope that helps.